Good morning, everybody. My name is China, and I'm 29 years old. I'm originally from Chicago, and this is my testimony about how God saved me. He truly did. I was raised, I come from a family who actually was Christian, and we were raised to believe in the Lord Jesus. Me and my sister, we go to church every Sunday. Yep. And I came from a household where both my parents were still are actually still are married. But I struggled with things as I was growing up, as I was a kid. So I have a lot to say regarding my testimony, so I will probably just take a look at my notes because I have a lot, and I've never done a testimony before. So a stronghold is a harmful thought pattern. I've heard that you should watch your thoughts because your thoughts become words. The Bible does say that out of the heart the mouth speaks. Your words that you say can then manifest into actions. So whatever you're thinking, that can actually come out and start actually being things that you do every day. And so repeated actions, they become habits. So you keep on doing the same thing all the time. And then when you keep doing that, your habits become your lifestyle. So that's what happened with me when I was a kid. I would always have these different sexual thoughts. And I believe when I was in third grade, just trying to consider what age it was, but I definitely saw the movie Showgirls when it was on TV once, and that opened my eyes. It was very sexually explicit, but at the same time it was intriguing to me, like that movie. So the movie, I'm just reading just the notes here. It is about a mysterious young drifter who calls herself Naomi Malone. She hitches a ride to Las Vegas where she finds work as a stripper and sets about clawing her way to the top of the Vegas Showgirls. So I saw that movie, and that had influence on me, because anything that you watch or see, especially when you're a kid, you're easily influenced. So I saw that, and it had an impact on me. So when I was in second grade in 2003, there were no computers or internet yet. But because there's no computers, that doesn't mean there's not pen and paper. I would get sexual thoughts, and the things that I would see, I would then get ideas to draw these different sexual images. And the images that I would draw on paper, I would then look at with lustful thoughts. So that would happen. The devil, he wanted to use my artistic gift that God gave me, because I'm an artist. I have been gifted with the ability to draw and paint and even do graphic design, but the devil back then, he wanted to use my gift to help me sin and draw explicit things. But the spirit of lust, it grew in me. In 5th or 6th grade in 2005, I began to watch porn online. That is not something I'm proud to admit, because watching explicit videos like that is not something to be proud of. It is usually, that's a sin that people do in the dark and keep secret. Like when you go outside, you don't see that on them. You can't tell who's watching that and who's not. But that is something that I began to watch when I was about 11, 12 years old. It could have even been a little before that, but I know for sure then is when I was I was watching those things. This is also the time when I was first introduced to social media. Around that time, like 2003, 4, 5, that's when social media first came out. So when I was in 6th grade, I began to watch that porn online. Those are my thoughts taking me there. So I had a MySpace page. Like a lot of us had MySpace. I had a MySpace page, and I also had a tagged page. That was another social media website, tagged.com. And I had a My Yearbook page. I don't believe My Yearbook exists now, but I definitely had that page as well. I had all of it. How I got My Yearbook, I was introduced to it by one of my friends at school. She had a page. She was like, "Oh, China, you can make one too." And you know, if you got friends at school and they're all connecting in these new ways on social media, you want to connect too. And they're people you see every day at school, they're your friends. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make one too. I had a computer at home. I actually, yeah, had one. I had a computer in my room for a time. So you best believe I made me all the social media pages. And I added all the friends I had at school on there. And you know what? On social media, there's others. So I'd be friends with all these like other different people that I didn't know from other places around the world and stuff like that. But I ended up misusing these websites. So in 6th grade, that's when I believe I got my first legitimate cell phone. Like I first started out with like a pay-as-you-go phone. I don't know if any of y'all have started out with that too, but yeah, like in 2007, I had my first cell phone. It was like the one that is like the cell phone that you slide up. There was no iPhones yet, but I had that, and I would text and call my friends, and also I would text and call different guys that I would maybe, sure, I talked to like 1 or 2 at school, but there were also guys that I would talk to that I met on the social media sites. This was way before the term catfish was even invented, you guys. Like I said, I'm 29 years old. I didn't come a long way when it comes to like the development of social media. However, my parents, they would still, no matter what I was doing, they would still take me to church every Sunday and they would pray for me. But the world around me, it seemed louder and it had my full attention. It's also hard to sort of walk the right way. Like walk the way that God has called you to walk. And truly live for Jesus when you are like 12 years old, that young, and all your friends at school are not doing that. You know, it's a hard thing, and peer pressure is real. So I lean more into the peer pressure, and you know, but in spite of that, I still go to church. In 7th and 8th grade, I never really had my phone privileges anymore. Like I had the phone, I was given the same opportunity as my sister. We both started out with the same opportunity with the cell phone, but I would lose my phone a lot. I'd lose my privileges. My parents would take it from me because they would always catch me doing things I shouldn't have been doing, misusing the phone and not using it for what they gave it to me for. And then with my computer at home, I would always be drawn to it in order to look at different porn websites. Okay, this is a real thing. I would struggle with this on and off in different cycles. Y'all who have had the same problem, you understand what that means. And so I would look at this stuff at home on the computer, the explicit videos, and I noticed that over time, the computer, it developed a virus, okay? I didn't know anything about computer viruses. Keep in mind the internet hadn't, or actually not the internet, but like this stuff was sort of like more new. Like the use of the internet started picking up, you know, so this stuff wasn't around as long yet, but yeah, the computer got a virus on it. And but every time I would watch these different things or go to these different explicit websites, I would always make sure that I delete my search history so that the next person couldn't come use a computer and then see what I was doing. See, I thought I was hiding what I was doing, but no. So one day I just had to tell my dad, like, oh, Dad, you know, there's a virus on the computer. And so, sure, I deleted the history, but somehow he was still able to look up the cause of the virus, and he was able to see that I had been watching porn on that computer. After he saw that, he did not get mad at me. My dad didn't do that. He just gave me a strong warning, and he said that, China, you want to stay away from watching things like this because they can lead to other harmful actions in the future. So my dad did warn me about that, and I heard what he said. I listened to him, but that addiction, it started and it was real strong on me, and it was hard. It was real hard. But like I said, he didn't get mad at me. He just stayed patient. But little did I know that watching porn is a very possessive cycle that seems endless, and it does have a stronghold on your mind. I can definitely say that for sure. There have been a lot of times where I would watch these different things. Immediately after I'm done, I would start crying. I would feel bad for watching it, and I didn't know why, because I'm the one that chose to do it. But I would feel bad, you know? Something else that aided this addiction, listening to certain sexual music. I would have thoughts and imaginations of myself having sex with certain guys that I had an attraction to. So yeah, just thinking about this stuff a lot, meditating on these thoughts. Okay, remember what I said earlier about thoughts. If you keep thinking about them, they can come true. They can actually manifest in real life. So when I went away to college, I graduated high school in 2013, and then I went to college. You know, college was cool. It was a new experience, but keep in mind, I had freedom that I'd never had before. So what was in my head was actually made manifest in real life. But how was I taught how to do these different things? It was what I was watching. I was living completely opposite of how I was raised. I can definitely say that. Okay? That's what I was doing, and that was my choice. Everybody has the same 24 hours to make the same or different choices, and I chose to do that. Go the opposite way of how I was raised by my parents. My parents, they raised me to serve God and abstain from sex before marriage. They don't support that. They didn't raise me like that. And to not live in a reckless way that's harmful to me. Okay? But I was still willingly choosing sin, and there were times where I would try to stop. There were times where I would try to stop and come to God, but I ended up in the same cycle over and over again. Yeah, it had that much of a stronghold over me, that porn addiction. It did. So sexual immorality can cause you to lose your morals. I can definitely agree with that, because that is what happened with me. And it's also easy for you to lose those when you're around so many other people that are doing the wrong thing and that are influencing you, people that you call your friends, that you always hang out with. You start picking up their habits, you see. And remember, I said habits can become a lifestyle over time, right? So I would you know, try to come to God at times. And like I said, I ended up in the same cycle.